The button has been clicked, and we are live here at Comics Unbound with Dustin Brunel and
And me on the other
that,
side of the screen today. I only just noticed that. You flicked
that
me
way,
open. You threw me off.
that lead shocker talking
Hello.
shenanigans. Well, so I know a lot of you guys get to live vicariously through podcasts and through shows and stuff, and you guys you get to see the bigger shows, through these podcasts and the live streams that folks do from them. But I'm willing to bet none of you guys, with the exception of the guys and gals from Australia, have actually watched a live stream about a show from Australia. So today we're going to get Leigh to talk to us about that and figure out what the differences are from a show over here and a show over there. So Leigh, you want to kick us off and tell us a little bit maybe about the big shows in your area first off? What you got?
Well, there's none really in my particular area, but in Brisbane, because I'm a fair distance away from the capital.
You're out in the sticks.
Yeah, pretty much, man. They're all centered in the capital cities. You get a few regional ones. They're not so big and stuff, but the ones in the bigger capital cities do run similar, I guess, veins to what you guys do. They have their celebrities that are involved, their draw cards. Right. They have their artist booths. They have everything like that. Shows. They do the live streaming messages where, panels and stuff that go through to the internet you can always watch. They're big deals. They get a lot of people. Cosplay seems to be pretty popular. I assume it's the same over yonder. Like it seems to be popular everywhere.
I love it. I wonder over there, is it still a comic book show?
Well, mate, I haven't been to one for a while because of COVID and stuff.
For sure.
It was a few years. I wasn't a creator at that point, but I went to, I think it was Supernova in Brisbane.
Oh, that's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty big. Mind you, though, I'd had a few beers during the day, so it was a pretty, experience. There was a lot happening.
Right.
It just, I guess they do get like 20, 30,000 people, I assume. Don't quote me on the figures that come through the doors and stuff. They get, international artists pop up. I know
cool.
There's a few big ones, man. Like I'm 100% sure in the last, before COVID, you used to actually get, I think it's Todd McFarlane's been to one, possibly
right
Sydney. And they do get big names out here.
For sure.
An opportunity. All the artists that I've met are usually down at the big ones, and they're all open guys. So you can talk shop, buy some comic books straight from the people. Get all your art. Much of a muchness, mate. I don't think distance really separates what the primary, driving force behind any of the comic book conventions. I guess it just comes down to who organises it, who has the bigger pulling power and stuff like that, whereabouts it is. Because Australia, much like you guys, I guess, is a very large country for a small population. So in terms of, let's say for someone like me who's in Townsville to get to Melbourne, to get, have books and, what it's like to, pack yourself up for a big mission. Logistically, man, oh God, huge nightmare. So these things have to be, I guess, very, very thought out. I suppose, man, when I was there, from recollection, they were talking about it. There were a lot of artists that were, I guess, if they were Brisbane or Queensland related, they would go to Brisbane and it'd be thick, heavy with them, and Sydney's and Melbourne's. But you do get your journeymen, there's Dave Dyers and, Brad Daniels I met last night, another guy out here that cruises around to, just about everywhere they can get. So, it's a lifestyle, I guess. And
For sure. I would love to see Dave die. I would fucking shit to see Dave die at a show. There's so many cool folks that live over there that I would love to see over here, and vice versa. You know what I mean? I'd love to see a bunch of our cats over there. Speaking of that, Ocampo, we're talking about trying to get him into the States for a show next year to sign some books. So I'm really, really excited about that. you know,
He's got a song after him, mate. So when he walks out, you're going to have to get that properly recorded. Hey?
yeah, I need to take care of that. I need to get the band going and get everybody ready for it.
It's only a short ditty.
Yeah, short one, you know.
Yeah.
So, before we go any further, you know, I pulled the number for the giveaway for the original art piece.
And I won.
Yeah, well, maybe not.
Nah, just joking.
You did win something though. Yeah, you always win something. I got a stack of shit for you that needs to come over there. This fucking shipping is bananas. You know, and so anyway, so the cool thing was it went to the guy that won is a guy that we talked to on Facebook. Out of all these people that fucking pre-ordered this book, right? We're actually at $10,260 something right now. And with a week left, which is great. I'm super excited about it. And that'll put us at our second top pre-ordered book so far. But if you're on the show right now listening, and you run in the circle, reach out to Eric Koch and tell him I've got an original piece of art for him. Very, very fucking cool. Nice guy. Like, nice as they come. I know that he was having a rough day today because I follow him because he's a good dude. I know he's been having a couple days. So really, really thrilled to be able to give him something cool like that. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh man, I know that name. You know what I mean? All 200 and something folks are. Yeah, I mean, I know that one. You know, fuck.
Yeah, no, that is good, mate.
Like, I just thought it was really, really
nice
cool.
fella. Not saying anyone else isn't nice and lovely, but SK's nice dude.
And we'll end up giving away a couple more pieces before. I think we're giving away a couple copies of the listener and a few other things for the end of the campaign. We'll be pulling numbers for. But I was very, very thrilled with the fact that it was his, and I'm stoked for him. Speaking of cool things at shows, San Diego Comic-Con is going on right now. And there are a ton. Yeah, man, all weekend. And there are a ton of folks that we know out there chilling, you know, and I'm very, very excited for them. You know, Shawnee is there right now.
Oh, yes.
Shawnee's helping out with a booth right there right now. And she just happened to see our buddy Ryan Kincaid. And she picked up an original fucking If It Hops cover art from Ryan. Man, what a cool thing to happen. I mean, and, you know, she is an awesome person, a great friend. I mean, a staunch, you know, supporter of everything we do.
Absolutely.
A great human being. But, you know, there are other people there right now as well. Ruben is there. Ruben's doing some cool stuff. He's a great guy. Also works on our cover team. Really, really cool fella. And I think, oh my gosh, I think Anthony Helmer's there too. You know, go see him, guys. I mean, those are incredibly talented folks if you're out in that area. Even if you can just stop in for a day, you know, stop in, say, hey, you know, take your swag with you, get some shit signed. They're good dudes. And then we've got right now, we're prepping for Amazing Las Vegas. And that's probably, I mean, I've done MegaCon, I've done, you know, some other larger shows, but I think, and I've done MegaCon numerous times, but I think this is the farthest show from me that I've ever done before. It's literally like a 48-hour drive from my house, some crazy shit like that.
There and back, or just there?
Just there. So we're flying. Yeah, we're totally flying.
So, okay, getting on that track, but getting back to what we spoke about, long distance to convention, logistics. How's it been?
So normally, like with me, especially it's different now because of gas and everything, right? So like right now, I would do Orlando, which if I drive down the coast is like an 8.5, 9-hour drive for me. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of big shows are in Florida. So that's real easy because we're from there. We're used to the trip, you know, getting back and forth and stuff. You know, we've done those. Those are real, real simple and easy to get to and shit. Because you go the back way in the back roads and shit, and it's nothing but road. You know what I mean? Road and trees and shit, and it's music and bullshit and whatever. So those are always good shows. Now, I went up to Michigan. That was a really far, and I was just going to hang out, like shoot the shit. Steph Wilson was there, April was there, Carrie was there. There's a bunch of folks there. So I drove up for that one just to hang out for a day or two. You know what I mean? That was fun. I don't know that I'd do it myself, that particular show. It just didn't catch my attention like that. But I went to Michigan. That was the Baltimore show I was just talking about. But I went to Michigan. And yeah, exactly. So I went to Michigan. That's funny. I don't think I'll do Michigan again just because the scene was very different. Like it was very, very different than I'm used to. And it was just our content is very different. You know what I mean? It's very different. And even if you're talking about just the listener, if you're just talking about the listener, it's not the easiest pill for everyone to swallow if they're not used to that type of content. I got my ass chewed like twice at that show for having just the listener. I didn't have greed on the table. I didn't have nothing else on the table. Nothing. And this dude was just like, you shouldn't be, selling content like that. And I'm like, is he going to pull my native? He's like, he's going to pull my native card while we're fucking sitting here. You know what I mean? Like talking shit. And, but it was real bullshit, the whole deal. But it just goes like you were saying, though, the logistics of things. You have to plan out where you're going. You know what I mean? Like what kind of community you're selling to, what kind of content you have, because you don't want to go to a show like, you don't want to go to a show that people buy a shit ton of original art in that area, but you have no original art. You know what I mean? You don't want to go unprepared. So being prepared, I think, is a key part of the convention scene. Being ready for the show you're going to, having your pitches prepared. Because I pitch. I don't just sit there and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, that's cool. I pitch because I talk a lot. You know what I mean? So it's very easy for me to talk to someone about something that I care about and is important and very valid to me. So, I go in and I'm ready. What book am I going to pitch the most? You know what I mean? What book on the table am I going to put out that I know people are going to attention to?
All right. Well, on that train of thought, what book would you pitch the most at that particular time? Is it your fresh book that's just come out the most recently? Is it an upcomer? Like, how do you attack that?
So with me, I have a lot of content. So it's like I go in and I cherry pick my own books. Like I'll be like, well, I know Trevor's books sell like a motherfucker. Doesn't matter what issue it is. So I'll take all the Trevor books. I'll take all the Steph Wilson books. You know what I mean? If there are other standout books for a certain series, like I'll take Devin's covers. You know what I mean? I'll take the Massey covers with me. And then I'll be like, okay, well, what medals do I have here with me? Because a lot of people have never seen a medal. So you take your medals with you because they're great. A lot of people haven't seen them. Like I said, you run really low print runs on them. So I make sure I take my medals, I take my foils. One key thing that I've seen people forget, like nobody's fucking business, and it makes me sad for them. Goddamn business cards, dude. Take business cards. Make sure you put your fucking email on the business card, because folks are like, they may not have the time or the cash to get what they want right now. Yep. But if you're smart and if you're polite and you're showing people things that are cool to them and they've got a place they can go later, have a website, dude. Like I have an actual fucking website that you can go and shop all day, 24/7.
There's truth in what you said there, because I've done that. I've been at places where, I'll grab your card, mate. And it may not be that night, that next day. It may be a week or two down the fucking track. But you pull it out and you go, oh, that boom, right. And then So, I mean,
Yeah,
all
your
these
swag
things
bag, right?
balance time and traction with people, isn't it? You know what I mean?
You know,
Like in building up your base and
for sure.
people.
For sure. Like I'm a big fan of collecting cards while I'm out. You know what I mean? I will go by and I'll pick up artist cards left and right. And
So
then I
do
put them
you
on my
have
desk.
them blue tacked on a particular wall, mate, like you do your postie notes? Is one of those
I
walls?
have a what I do with them actually, and people laugh, is I take pictures of them
Yeah.
and then I have a folder on my computer with who I would go back to. And for anybody listening that's an artist, if I have your card, trust that you probably get a call back before anybody else does, because I literally keep everybody's business cards in a fucking folder on my computer, and they're all ranked with what I thought about what I saw. You know what I mean? So if I'm looking for somebody, I'm going to go to those cards and be like, oh, well, this was cool. That was cool, yada, yada. So have your business card. Another big thing that I have seen people not do, and I suggest, if you're going to run a booth or something like that, have your own tablecloth. Not just the tablecloth that you put on the table while you're there, but put on a tablecloth that you can cover all your shit with. Okay? I mean, I get that there's security at most shows, but there's not security at every show. You know what I mean? So, the less people can see, the less interest they have in your shit. So make sure your shit's always covered when you leave your booth.
Well, it is funny too. You hear stories of and it's simple, tiny things too that people forget. Zip ties, like postie notes, a couple of pens, like just basic stationery that they do find, is extremely helpful given the current situation. Tape, yeah.
Always have tape, because I'll say this. I don't tape the bags and boards that I take to the shows. Okay. So normally my show boxes don't have the bags and boards taped. They sit with the box on top of the lid on top of them all the time. You know what I mean? But when I go to a show, 9 times out of 10 people want their books signed, because we don't charge. You know what I mean? So 9 times out of 10 people want their books signed. So I'm more than happy to do so. Doesn't matter how many you've got or how many you purchase. I'm happy to sign them. But it makes me feel safer to sign a book and put it back in the bag, because I sign with paint. For anybody that's curious, all my books are signed with paint. So we do take a few more minutes. What's going on, Corey? So we do take a few more minutes to let the paint dry before we put it in the bag.
Yep.
How much does it suck we've all done it at least once, and I've probably done it less than fingers I have on one hand, but we've all done it where we caught a book with a piece of tape. It's happened to everybody. I don't give a shit what anybody says. That was one reason I went to the resealable bags, you know what I mean, for my personal collection. But when you go and you sign this book, you don't want to fucking risk having a piece of tape catch it. So I don't tape the bags until we're done. You know what I mean? Then I'll throw a fresh piece of tape on there. Doesn't have fucking lint on it. Doesn't have fucking hair on it. You know what I mean? Slap a nice new piece of tape on there, and people appreciate that. They appreciate the wherewithal and the kindness you take to the product you're giving them. Because and I say it all the time, that your sales starts not on the outside, not just your cover and not just anything else, but it's how you talk to people and how you treat people and how you associate with people. So then they pick up the book and they're like, man, this is really well put together. This isn't newspaper stock, da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? But you're also showing them that you care about the product that they've just purchased. And that's very important to people. It's important to me. Like if I go to a book signing and some dude, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be Jack Kirby if he was back from the dead and decided he was going to sign my book, but he screwed it all up with tape. You know what I mean? You're not going to replace those fucking old ass books because you got to mess up with tape. You know what I mean? Those awesome Silver Age books. So yeah, man, I'm very careful with people's stuff. So yeah, go in with some tape, some nice tape, some Scotch tape, whatever. And then what I've seen a lot of folks do, and it's also very, very cool. I don't do it for shows, but you could use painter's tape. Just use a piece of blue painter's tape, because it's not going to stick to the book. You know, you can pull it off without damaging the book whatsoever. If you feel the need to close those books when they're on your table, like me, I don't close them.
Yeah.
Because the books that are on my table are there for people to pick up and look at. Okay. And then when they pick the book they want, we go under the table and pull them out of the boxes. People don't, like I myself personally do not like.
So you have reader versions, basically, that's accessible to people.
For sure.
That's a
they
good idea.
never look like that. They would never ever look like that. You know what I mean? They don't look like a reader copy. I put a brand new copy out there. You know, and a couple. If you're fans of ours and you've seen us at shows, I give them away. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I literally give them away because most of the time they're cover A's. They're cover A's. I give the covers away to folks that meet with us, hang out with us, whatever else, because I don't want to sell a book that's not brand new, that I can't guarantee is a 9.8. Now, funny enough about that, I can almost always guarantee you a 9.8 or a 10. Almost always. But it's not about the grade. It's about people's hands and everything else. You know what I mean? You don't know where they've been. You don't know what they've done. You don't want them on your books. You know, so I'm never going to try to sell you a book that people's hands have been on. And that's just a pro tip, man. You know, keep a fresh stock of books, you know, at the show.
So these are just tips that you've picked up after doing so many shows, mate, and just going and stuff.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot.
It's good advice, mate, for people, you know, because there's people that watch these shows, you know, live and afterwards and stuff that, you know, like are doing, there you go, painter's tape.
Painter's tape, man.
You know, that need little helpful hints like this, you know, because you'd run into trouble and forget the easiest things. And
well, nobody told me, right? No one came out and said, hey, Dustin, you should have these things. You know what I mean? Like right now, one thing that we did that I think was the smartest thing, and I think everybody should do. Everybody should do it. Run to Walmart, buy yourself a fucking caddy. You can get one for like $89.99. And you know what? The Walmart ones, I don't give a shit that they're Walmart ones. Those fucking caddies, you can put 4 short boxes sideways in those fucking caddies, okay? So if you've got a lot of content, you can put 8 short boxes in that caddy and take it to your table. I mean, man, look, I did the first few shows I did the breaking my back bullshit. You know what I mean? I really did. Carrying shit to and from and chasing down the convention carts that you can borrow and stuff. And look, spend the $80, get yourself a cart. You know what I mean? And they break down, they fit right in the back seat of the car. You know, anybody's car. You have a little teeny car, you can put that thing in, it folds flat. Folds right up, put it in the back of the car. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I've done it. I've gone to shows, I forgot shit. I have a checklist now. Like a fucking checklist. Another cool one. A lot of people don't think about. So when you go to these bigger shows, most of the time bigger shows, little ones are starting to do it now too. But if you go to the bigger shows, they want to charge you for your fucking internet. Okay? Now, I don't have this problem because I have unlimited, but not everybody has that. So what I do is, and everybody's like, well, you can't be on your phone the whole fucking time. Ha ha. Go buy yourself an Anchor. Buy yourself an Anchor. Spend the $80-$90 again. And these are all tax write-offs, guys. If you're an LLC, these are all fucking tax write-offs. So go buy yourself an $89.99 fucking Anchor battery. Okay? Bring it to the show. Charge your fucking phone whenever you need it. Mine, $89.99, will charge my fucking shit 6 times over before it runs out of battery. You know what I mean? So you take that shit with you. Then your buddy, even if you're not unlimited, maybe your neighbor is like I am, he can turn on the fucking the hotspot for you. Now he's got unlimited battery, and now he's sharing fucking internet with you. So you can use your card. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have internet, your fucking card swipe doesn't work.
And the old bloody convention office officials are up there looking, they're cottoning on there. Look at this Dustin down on table 487.
That's right.
Look at this cheeky bastard.
That's right. I'm not paying you $95 for fucking internet for the day. I'm sure not. No,
Yeah,
sir.
that's fair enough. Yeah, no, fair
Not
enough.
doing it.
That's a
You
good
know what I
call.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
No. In the little things, like I said, business cards, pens, anchor. If
Yeah.
nothing else, those three things will make your life so much easier in the long run. You know, and then, we mentioned tape earlier. We also mentioned the painter's tape. Painter's tape, as easy it is, dude, MegaCon was 125, Corey. 125 for the day. Fuck that. So, yeah, not me. Sorry. Already paid $400 and something for the goddamn table. No, sir. So
That made me laugh, man, when you went, fuck that.
yeah, no,
It's like, fuck
not
that
me.
already.
Not this guy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, very cool.
but a cool thing that you can do with painter's tape is if you don't tear it like this, it's actually pretty durable. So if you've got like something you need to hang or anything like that, you can hang it with painter's tape. You can tie painter's tape. You can, as long as you're not being super rough with it, you could literally tie something with painter's tape. It's only going to cost you like $1.99 a roll. You know what I mean? That
Mate,
and
have you got a roll of painter's tape close by?
hold on.
For anyone out there that doesn't,
Absolutely, hold on.
yeah, awesome. See, hey, man in his office, he's got shit laying everywhere.
Not in my fucking office, but I'm gonna go grab it.
Yeah. Oh well, I got crap everywhere in mine too. So yeah, I want to have a look at this painter's tape because for all you guys out there, I'm not 100% sure, being in Australia, what painter's tape is. So hopefully, if we can visualize it, because we may have a different name for it. Yeah, so I hope everyone's enjoying today. Look at what he's done, gone and left me hanging. So while we're here, bugger it. I did this drink and draw last night, and I did this crazy no pencils, inks, and grey shades. So there you go. Have a look at that. I'll entertain you for as long as I can. Yeah, so San Diego Comic-Con. I don't even know what's happening over there. Who's a guest? Who's got the big shows going on? Oh, mate, I was having the time of my life then. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, right. Okay.
I mean, and like I said, as long as you don't tear it sideways, it's pretty fucking. I'm used to being over there, so I'm moving my arms and shit. It's super durable, super good stuff, and it's really thin. It's much more durable than it looks, but it's easy to use. And it's easy to tear without scissors. You don't need it. You can do it by hand. You know what I mean? When you want to, just like I said, tear it this way. But if you're careful with it and you don't tear it, you can do just about anything with it. Lots of people at fucking San Diego right now. Todd McFarlane's there. Kevin Eastman's there. There's a shit ton of people there. But yeah, survival guide.
What's old Todd selling this weekend?
I know that he's doing signatures. I know he's doing signings. And I know Anvu's there, Mog Park's there. Lots of people that we run with, really, really cool people. He said Ryan's there. Whole shit ton of fucking cool people.
Yeah, big show.
Huge show. Yeah. But there are little nuances to like that we add to that survival guide. Okay, like if you're a publisher and you've got artists that are going to be at a show. Okay, if you got artists that are going to be there, what's going on, Andrew? If you got artists, make sure you bring your blanks. Bring your fucking blank covers. Because now, if you've got an artist there and you're there, you can both do signatures, which is so much better than people having to fight across country with shipping and handling and all kinds of other shit to get books signed. So make sure you take those. Any kind of like swag that let's say you do Kickstarters, right? You do Kickstarters. All right. So you've got your stretch goals with Kickstarters. Okay. We do baseball cards. All right. We do baseball cards. So collectible cards. So if I've got 75, 80 extra baseball cards, collectible cards, I'm going to bring them to the show with me. Chances are I'm going to give them away to people at the show. You know what I mean? There are all kinds of cool things as a retailer, as a publisher, as an artist that you can do to ramp up the value of your booth because they're not cheap. You know, your booths aren't cheap. And this is the opportunity for you to reach out to fans that you may not see or associate with or know. I mean, the coolest thing for me was, not the coolest. One of the coolest things for me was I was at a show. We were at Suncoast Comic Con this year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had walked away from the table and this young cat walked up to me. What's going on? I wish I knew who it was, but it does the Facebook user thing. So this young cat walked up to me and he was like, "You're the dinosaur guy." And I was like, "Do what?" Completely oblivious. You know what I mean? I don't think about it all the time. I'm not there. So I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And he was like, "Well, you do the anthropomorphic dinosaur book." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Do you have them? You know, do you have the second one? Because we've got the first one." So those little nuances, when people come up to you, it gives you this really cool bond that you can share with fans, friends, or whatever. You know, here he is. There's my favorite artist. You know what I mean? If you're somebody's top dude and they show up, you want to make sure that you've got all the shit to make their ticket that they paid for worth being there to come see you. Their dude that they drove, 50 miles to come see you and spent $100 on a badge. You know, you want to you give them that experience. I mean,
so not only do you have to have your, packaging and, your comic books ready and stuff, but by the time you get that set up, you've also got to be ready in the mind to, focus on. And, I guess it's not just from what you're saying, turning up and sitting at a table and, someone comes out of the queue and like veers off to you and then you talk to them. You've got to be really aware of like sales pitches, what you're giving to people, what you can make, the add-on sales. I mean, there's a lot you got to be on your game when you're at these things.
Well, so if you one thing that's really, really cool is you're getting to reach out to people that may not have ever heard of you too. So like if somebody walks up with a Jurassic Park shirt on, right? I'm like, holy shit, have you heard about my book, Babes Going Dinosaurs? You know what I mean? You've got a dinosaur shirt on that's really, really cool. Yeah, Andrew, for sure. Like, I mean, we give away all kinds of shit all the time. And it's a lot of fun because it's not just swag. Like, I had a cat come up to me one night and he was like, "I've never seen a metal cover. I'd really like a metal cover." It was the last day of a show. And he was like, "Man, I've only got $20 on it." You're talking about a $50 book for $20. I've only printed 10 of them. And I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. Why do I want to take the book home when I can give it to a fan or a new fan and introduce them to an awesome series? I think one of my greatest pleasures in creating is people reading the story, and getting the actual book itself, So that's one reason that we love to do shows, and you see me all over the fucking country. It's not about making money. It's about getting the word out of the product and introducing myself to people and having amazing conversations. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that we're normal folks. We bullshit and we hang out and we like to have fun just like anybody else. So after the shows, we're all out at restaurants and bars, all in the area, bullshitting and chilling. I've signed books at a bar table. You know what I mean? Because
I was going to say you've been face down in a bowl of pasta, mate, and suddenly you get a comic book jammed in front of your face. Please sign this.
Hey, and it's cool though, because you expect it, or at least you should. You know what I mean? Being kind to people costs you absolutely nothing in this world.
Absolutely nothing.
And to me, like, I'll give you a perfect example. All our plans got fucked up when we went to Baltimore last year, right?
Oh,
so
don't talk about Baltimore like that, man.
Baltimore's fault. Baltimore was really, really cool. The city is very, very cool. I had no cool.
Oh man, I'm playing with you.
It really is.
I'm a Ravens fan for everyone
for sure.
that hasn't noticed.
So when we got there, we were supposed to eat at a restaurant, and it all got fucked up, and everybody ended up going one place or another. And one of our fans was like, "Hey, where are you guys at?" And I was like, "Oh, well, we're over here eating dinner here." And he was like, "Well, can we all come with you?" And I was like, well, fuck yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? And I think we sat and drank for like 4 hours and then went to the goddamn Cheesecake Factory and had cheesecake at like 1 a.m. You know what I mean? And it was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
And to be able to share that with friends, fans, family, whatever, is an awesome, awesome experience because you're not on this journey as a creator alone. And I think that's something that people don't quite understand. You're not alone in this. You're literally with all these thousands of people if you're blessed to have fans like that. I count myself very blessed because our fans are incredible. So, like, you're never alone in this. I can tell you, I get, folks that are curious about storylines, about characters, what's going on, what's happening. And you foster those relationships. You respect those individuals because the fans make the business. You know what I mean? So when you go to the show, you go in with your smile on, all the shit you want to give to people. Keep that in mind. Don't look at it like it's all about the money or it's all about anything else. These are people that are supporting you and they've come to see you. So your smile's on, your best look is there for these individuals because they work a job that you don't know anything about. And they've come on their day off because time is precious. So they've come on their day off to spend time seeing people and picking up product and hanging out with folks. It's all about making the experience for them because they deserve it. You know what I mean? So like me, I'm standing almost the entire time at shows. I'm always standing because sitting down, people have to look down at you when they're talking to you. But it's more respectful.
I reckon sitting down, mate, like gives a real impression. Like for me, if you're at a convention or anywhere, and when you see someone at the table sitting down, I get like the energy that's pervaded to me from that particular individual is that they don't seem 100% interested. They may seem distant. It may be a lack of confidence. Who knows? I mean, there's lots of different reasons for that. But, the person that stands and has energy and, speaks to people is far more appealing than,
right.
Someone that's
welcoming, right? You want to be welcome. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like when you come to a booth and you're looking at people's stuff, and I do it. I'm like, man, this is really cool, or that's really cool, and I love this, man. Where did you? And if they're disenfranchised with the conversation with me, or they're not interested, it's a very big turnoff for me. You know what I mean? I'm not excited about the product you have because you're not excited about the product you have. And I think it's a very symbiotic relationship between both sides of that table. Because
body language is a big thing, mate, and it is, and energy. Like everyone gives off energy, so you obviously are attracted to positive energy. So
right.
that's even something you got to consider.
For sure. I mean, I got stuck when we went to. I was very grateful when I got my table at Phoenix. I hadn't intended on having a table, right? Because I went to help April and do some stuff there at the show, so I had no intention of getting an actual table. So when we got the table, it was right next to the bathroom. Okay, right next to the bathroom. So everybody was like in the corners bitching about being next to the bathroom, and I'm like, you know how many people have to walk past you to get to that bathroom? You know what I mean? Don't ever go in and be like, oh, it's a dull spot or it's not great or whatever else like that. You make the situation. You know what I mean? You make just like when, I know it sounds cheesy, but and people have shit days and stuff. But when you wake up in the morning, you have a conscious decision about how you feel. You really do. You wake up and you're like, man, I don't feel like doing this shit today. I'm going to go back to bed. Or you wake up and you're like, damn, I got a lot to do. I'm going to hop in the shower. I'm going to rock my shit out. You know what I mean? And that's the same way that you need to look at it at a convention. This is awesome. Wake the fuck up. Do your thing, man. Have a good time. And share that energy. Share that positive, the power of your product. You know what I mean? If you love what you put in those pages, you want people to love what you've put in those pages. Like I'm a real emotional cat, right? Like I'm a real emotional dude. So if I'm crying about something that happens in my book when I write it, because that shit happens. Don't let anybody tell you it doesn't. So if I'm crying about something in my book that happens to one of my characters, because I put emotion into my product, I want you to feel the same fucking way. I had a guy reach out to me about the listener issue 2, and he was like, it didn't matter how I read the book, I cried. And I was like, yeah, but that's the goal, because I want you to feel anything that we feel. So that goes into a show as well. If I'm pumped and I've got the energy, I want you to be pumped, you to have the energy. You know what I mean? Cosplayers, right? Love cosplayers. You know, they come in with their fucking garb on and they've put all this time into this shit. Respect the fucking hustle. Look how awesome that is. You know, I sat with a dude and he was like, oh, I fucking hate cosplayers. Oh, the cosplayers this, the cosplayers that. They don't buy nothing. They just stand around and try to look pretty. And I'm like, cool, let them stand around and look pretty. Let them all stand around because that shit's mad dope. And they've put a lot of time into it. You know what I mean? A lot of time into it. So, yeah.
Oh, each to their own, mate. You know, like if everyone in the world was the same, it'd be a bloody boring place to live.
Look at this guy. Look at, there's team members of ours right there. They're in an Irish pub having a lot of fun. Love that shit. Love that shit, man. They're actually at a show getting they've got all kinds of shit going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. If you guys have not watched the Fike and Forney show, you need to watch it. Great folks. Fucking love those guys. Really, really good people. Awesome members of Team Ethereal. We love them to pieces. But when you're doing these things, man, when you're doing these things, what's that? Well, right on. What's going on, Dave? Dave's an incredible artist as well. Incredible artist. But when you go to a show and you've got artists that are doing their thing, that's one thing. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? If you're in there doing the hustle, that's But if you're sitting fucking off on your phone,
yes, that's the angle that I'm trying to get to. If an artist is on their table, they're doing their thing, they're making their money,
right,
they're doing
man.
That's what people are there for. But if you're tucked up in the corner,
all your work, you may have had like all of our team members, for the most part, they always have a commission list before they even get to the fucking show. You know what I mean? These guys and gals are booked out before they even get to the show. So it's like, cool, man, respect the hustle of that. But I just mean, the dudes that are not at their table all day, the whole fucking show. The dudes that, are, like I said, fucking off on their phone and shit. Don't do that stuff. You know what I mean? Be present. You're there for a reason. That shit can go on another day. You know what I mean?
Mate, you know what's funny? I've been watching heaps of comic book documentaries, and I came across one the other day, and it had Todd McFarlane in it. Yeah. And he was a very successful like commissions and comics person at the conventions as well. And he got a lot of people follow him, he was saying. And the interviewer said to him, like, what's a pointer? And it's funny, but he had a few. But the one I chuckled at was that he basically trained himself for the whole day not to go to the toilet. And from the minute he sat down to the minute the last person was there, he wouldn't go to the toilet. And he said he used to get so much curry from everyone. But, I mean, there you go. There's one of the big,
same thing, man.
Guys. And it's like that's what he said. He just tried and stayed in that chair doing his thing as long as possible. So
then you've got shows where people are like, oh, well, it's Dad, I'm going to leave early. Okay? Last day of the show. It's Dad, I'm going to leave early. Don't fucking leave early. Don't leave early. Sit till the end of it, because there are still people walking around, okay? They have less to look at than they did before, okay? Now here's another prime time for you to be able to be like, hey, look, how's it going? Did you see anything cool? I always start a conversation like that because I'm legitimately interested, because my ass has not left my booth. Did you see anything cool while you were walking around? You know what I mean? And I think that as a person that collected comics beforehand and owned a shop and has been involved with them almost my whole life, I'm still a super fan. Like, I'm still a fucking super fan. Like, all day long. If you were to tell me certain people were on the red carpet or whatever else right now the way from me, I would want to run over there so bad. It would be so hard for me to resist the urge, But the better you do, the more you've been around, you start getting into the circles. You don't have to if I want a signature from people, I don't have to do it through a show. You know what I mean? And that's something integral to remember as an artist or somebody that works in the scene or the business or whatever. You can do those things. Pick up a phone call, a phone once you've been in the scene a little while. You're going to make contacts and stuff. You're going to meet people, arm the fucking booth, do the shit, man, and like when I first started, I wanted to make contacts so bad, like so bad. So I'd be, doing my thing and shit. And, Heather or somebody would be working the booth or whatever, but they cannot pitch your product like you can. They cannot pitch your product. I can tell you about Battle for Bustle. I love fucking Battle for Bustle, and I'll tell you it's great. And I'll tell you all kinds of cool information about it. But I can never pitch it to you the way Leigh pitches it. Never, ever pitch it. Because the heart is there. The soul is different. You know what I mean? I can love something, but there's no way I'm as passionate as the dude that created it. It's just never going to be like that. Like you could take right now and, I'm not going to drop any names on anybody, but the guy that's doing Spider-Man right now, you know what I mean? The guy that's doing Spider-Man right now, he obviously is not as in love with Spider-Man as, say Stan Lee or Jack Kirby or Ditko or, you know what I mean? Any of those cats. He may really like Spider-Man, but he's not those guys. He's not the guys that lived, breathed, and fucking, woke up every day and was doodling that dude. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. That's the difference. So you want to be present, for the fans that are there to see you. Be present. Do your checks when you leave. We've all left shit when we needed it. Like I think now that we're, we talked about driving. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. If you talk about the trip and everything like that, like right now we're flying more than we're driving. Used to be I drove everywhere. The gas is so high that it's literally I'm better off fucking flying. Why should I sit in a car for 8-10 hours when I can fly for the same fucking price? And that's another thing. When you go to fly, make sure you get badass fucking luggage, right? You can get the stuff at Walmart, the high-end tier stuff at Walmart for, again, we're going $80 to $100, but you can get it for like $110 after tax. That's what mine cost, and it's like a tank. It's literally, it comes up to my, like, almost to my chest. It's got wheels. I can put 2 short boxes in it, plus a shit ton of other stuff, and it can carry up to 130 pounds. So it's literally like, you instead of paying for 3 fucking packages, get 1 or 2 of those, and it's going to save you money as well, depending on how many shows you go to. Like this year, I think we've done 7. What are we in now? We're in July, going into August. We've done 7 shows this year. So having luggage like that has been incredibly helpful because, like I said, it's got wheels. So instead of fucking leaving that shit, if you don't want to get the cart we talked about earlier, get a fucking piece of luggage like that, and you can drag that shit along with you. They're going to check it at most big shows. That's fine. Most of those bigger luggage pieces have straps in them to hold everything where they're supposed to be. There are ways to make your life easier in this convention circuit. If you're doing it, if you're going to be part of it, be prepared for it. You know what I mean? You could easily be like, well, I only do 1 or I only do 2 a year, and that's cool. That's your business. It's not as hard for you guys to do what you need to do, But if you're buying 2 tables and 3 tables at a show, like we've got 4 tables in Vegas.
Mm.
You know,
You want to have that checklist ready, mate.
absolutely. If I leave some shit, let me say, if I leave roll down banners or tablecloths, because our tablecloths have the brand on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I leave any of my shit, table runners, if I leave a table runner with that beautiful fucking logo across the front of it, I'm gonna catch so much hell and I'm gonna beat my own ass all weekend long, you know, and wonder if that banner wasn't caught somebody's attention, you know. So it's little nuances to the things you do. You know what I mean? That checklist will save your life. I promise, and it'll save you a shit ton of money too.
No doubt. That's a simple thing, mate. You know, like so many people just think they can do a lot of stuff from memory too, and a checklist is just like something that makes it easier, gives your brain a little space that they don't have to think about too much. You know, you can focus on other things that are required. You know, no, they're good tips, mate. Like for anyone that is listening and hasn't thought about these things and might save them.
You got to start doing shows next year, sir.
I am next year, mate. I'll be out and about. So yeah, no, I'm having a couple of days off. I've banged out like 3 projects the last week or so. So that have been months long, and off onto the next comic book or two. Yeah. So all good. But yeah, it's next year. Yeah, I will get out and about. So catch up and meet a few of the people that I've had so much time with on live streams over here in Australia. You know, like there's a lot of guys I'd like to see in the flesh, and
absolutely
have an orange juice with, mate. You know, I can see what they're like. You mentioned one before, Dave Dye. Would be a cool dude to
he'd be a cool one to hang out with, right?
Yeah. There'd be plenty of stories, old Dave. So
man, like I remember one of the shows that we did was the year before last. A show we did the year before last, I was like, man, I really want to meet who was it? Fuck. Oh, it was Ron Perlman. I really wanted to meet Ron Perlman, and he canceled his signings, but that day, which sucked. But that energy is palpable. You know what I mean? You go into it and you're like ready. I got my shit to get signed. I want to say, hey, man, look, last time I did MegaCon, I about killed people to get this guys from Full House to sign pictures for me because my daughter's a huge fan.
Yeah.
A huge fan. And I've never seen all 3 of them at a show before, right? So we ended up getting all 3 of them to sign them. And then dude passed away like 6 months after that. But there's energy. It's real energy because you're there and you're like, that's the dude I'm there to see. Most people have 2 or 3 people they want to see at a show, and you should be so lucky as to be one of those 2 or 3 people that they want to meet, And I look at it like that. I look at it like it's more than me. It's bigger than me. And I think that's something really, really cool. The energy that you can take from that. I don't know. I'm ready. I'm ready for Vegas. I'm so fucking ready for Vegas.
When's Vegas, mate? That's in August sometime, isn't it?
It's September 16th, 17th, and 18th is Vegas. Yep. It was supposed to be July. June. It was supposed to be June. We'll push it back to September.
What delayed it?
I don't know. I didn't really get into it all. You know what I mean? I think they had some guests that couldn't show up, and there was another event going on. But whatever. If you're
logistics, there's logistics everywhere. Like even from the venue with other things. So many factors, mate. Like
absolutely. So if you're if you're an Ethereal fan, though, this will be the show of the year. This is really going to be the show of the year because not only am I going to be there. April will be there, which April and I run shows together a lot, but April and I will be there. Blade and Hunter will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Not only Blade and Hunter, but Lee Iris Cross will be there. Steph Wilson will be there. Lots of folks, man. And that's
Mm.
like, that's only the people that have come out and got tables already. You know what I mean? So you never know who's going to show up at that last minute or be like, hey, look, I'm going to get a table. Excuse me. So there's 6 members of Ethereal that'll be there at a minimum.
Mm.
You know, signing books, doing fucking original art and whatever else. Before we get out of here, though, I do again. I want to talk about Theater 7 real quick and remind Eric Koch that he's got an original piece of art coming from us. We're very grateful for his support. He's supported Ethereal for a while now, so that's very, very cool. But what are we at right now? So we're at, let's see, hold on, let me bring it up. We're at $10,269, 198 backers with a week left to go. That's almost what BGD2 made with a week left. Okay, so I really think we're going to get up there. I'm really, really excited about it. Just so everybody's aware, we've already written, edited, and finalized the additional 6 pages for Theater 7. They're a real fun little thing that we're going to start doing for that book, which will be like Penny's, the things that Penny has to deal with the theater. Not like the adventures she goes on or anything like that, but what she has to deal with a haunted theater. It's a lot of fun for me because I want people to realize the theater itself is a character. I mean, it is a character as much as any other character from any other story. So I think that's a lot of fun. We go in and we put these things together. And, you know, you've got Mr. Kemp and his colors are just fucking bananas. So getting to see him, you know, I fangirl over a bunch of our team. You know, I fucking fangirl over a bunch of our team. But it's funny because our team fangirls over each other. And I think that's one of the coolest parts about us as a group. We're literally like, oh, that's fucking badass. And then they're like, oh, shit, they're going to do something with me? Oh, fuck. You know what I mean? That's really, really cool. Like, you know, some of these cats have been in this industry for 20 years, 25 years that are on our team. You know, so to be able to work with them is such a pleasure. It really is. It's such a fucking pleasure. Like I was talking to Devin Massey, who is I'm a big fan of, you know, and he's a great dude and a great friend. And as we're talking, he's like, holy fuck, Dan Kemp is coloring my shit. And I'm like, yeah, right. How cool is that? You know, so it's a lot of fun because we still look at this as much as it is a business and as hard as we all work, we still have that childlike abandon for comic books. You know what I mean? It's still like this fascinating place where we can go and witness amazing things. And to have people come in and tell you that they're thrilled to be working with you is a very powerful thing. And like when I see Leigh do anything, like it blows my mind. Or Vela do fucking anything, it blows my mind. You know, I had not talked to Ryan but a handful of times, and he sent me this wild ass piece of art from Greed because he was like, that shit's just fucked up. I want to draw it. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? And I'm like, this dude who we've only spoken once or twice to lives halfway across the world and wants to draw my wild ass shit, you know? And that was a couple years ago now, almost 2 years ago. And I have watched people be fascinated and excited and thrilled with things that we put out. And to this day, if I hadn't had imposter syndrome at the beginning of this and got rid of it, I would have it so bad. Like I'd still have it so fucking bad. But, you know, you get to a point where if you pay attention to the people that mean it and the feeling behind what people say, you know, that's something you get over. And that's a lot to do with your con game. And a lot of people don't realize that. But the convention circuit is not for everyone, you know. And I have a friend that tried it and it wasn't great for him because he's an introvert, you know, and he didn't feel like it was right for him. And that's okay. But if you do enjoy people, you can go into a convention circuit and make it something that is magical. It's not a job, it's fun. I look forward to it every time. I look forward to the fucking alcohol afterward. I look forward to the food and the locations and bullshitting with friends that I haven't hung out with in 6-7 months, because you create the atmosphere. And I think that's the most powerful thing to do. We can give you tonight, guys. You create your own atmosphere. I don't even think I got it. My wife, she has this cool board in our laundry room, and it says, "You create your own happiness." And I don't think I ever got that till this conversation this evening. What's going on, Ryan? I was just talking about you, fucker. But I don't think I got it until literally just talking with you guys this evening. How powerful that very sentence is. You create your own happiness. Create your own atmosphere. Carry it with you. Demand the happiness that you deserve. And I think at a convention, again, that air is at your table. Share it with people. And I think that, like you said, I think that's the most powerful thing that we can give you this evening. If you're getting ready to do a convention, go at it with pride in your product, and happiness to be there and share that atmosphere to people. Again, I'm Dustin Brunell from Ethereal Comics, and this is my good buddy Lee Chalker, and we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out here on Comics Unbound, and we'll be here next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll be here next week.
We'll be here. See ya.
Have a good night, guys.